Hey everybody, John Tar here. Welcome to what will probably be a presentation under an hour. Let's hope. We're going to try to get through it as fast as possible for you. We are live now, so our presentation today is all about how to have a profitable internet business instantly, which is what we call our island lifestyle licensing blueprint. It's a licensing program that Kyle Bell and I have. Word up, Kyle.
What's up? Yeah, I was like, you jumped on here and said John Tarr. I didn't even get an intro anymore. So I was like, is
Yeah,
he doing
no,
this by himself or can I get the
yeah.
hell out of here?
John Tar and his business partner,
Yes.
Mr. No Name. That's a little inside joke, but we're going to introduce ourselves, tell you about us, all kinds of stuff. We got plenty of stuff to cover. So one thing, we'll tell you who we are, and we'll talk about you a little bit, or who we hope you are. We'll talk about the anatomy of an online business. So what does an online business really look like? Why do so many people fail online? We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the three things you must know to be a successful entrepreneur, and especially a successful online entrepreneur. And Kyle and I feel like these are the most important things to any business. So you want to make sure to get that information. I think it'll help you in any business you're in. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can work with us and have a turnkey online business. We'll talk about that at the very end of the presentation. So, who are we? So, my name is John Tar. As I mentioned earlier, my business partner is Kyle Bell.
What's
And
up?
yes, there he is again. And so, what we have done in the last, I would say, few years, we've been pretty well-known online marketers, and we've done over $50 million worth of products in the last 3 years. Our mainstay is supplements. We're pretty big in the supplement niche. A lot of people know us in that niche. We're also really big in the information marketing niche. So if you're familiar with ClickBank and these kind of platforms, we have been pushing a lot of those kind of products for those publishers. And we've also done some physical products, been involved in quite a few companies and things. If you include our consulting clients or people that we teach and train, we basically have done over $250 million in online revenue. It's kind of like McDonald's. I don't know how many billions they've sold, right? But we've done a lot of money in online revenue because we worked with some of the top products and business people on ClickBank above all offers. We've been around the block, so to speak. Kyle, anything to add there of
Uh,
our wonderfulness?
uh, no, I think you covered our wonderfulness. Nobody wants to hear about us anyway.
No, in the little webinar thing, like what to do in a webinar, you've got like say how wonderful you are. So that's where we are here.
This is
And
the anatomy of a webinar.
yeah, the anatomy of a webinar. Say how wonderful you are. Introduce yourself and say how wonderful you are. So we'll move right along. But Dan Kennedy, who's I think if you've never heard of Dan Kennedy, you should really check out his stuff. He's kind of like the godfather of direct response marketing or the information business. It was around before Dan, but Dan really perfected it. And one thing that Dan says is it's not what you say about yourself, but what others say about you that counts. So let's hear what some other people say about us. Casey Curtis is a guy who um, Casey and his business partner Michael basically promote online products. And they've used some of the things that we're going to teach you in this presentation to just make a killing online. I'll let Casey say what he's done. Um, just wanted to give a huge thanks to John and Kyle. Last fall, John asked for our goals. I said to make 5 grand a day. This month, my business partner Michael and I hit those goals by spending 210,000 to make back 530,000 for a total profit of 320,000. Not a bad month of some work and lots of traveling. Now I can afford for my unborn children to drop out of an expensive private college. I love that quote, by the way.
Casey.
And if you know Casey, he's sort of he's an awesome dude, and he doesn't take anything serious, I don't think. And if you're going to go out with him, you better bring your liver. That's all I'm going to say. So
Bring somebody else's liver in case they need a
somebody else's
transplant.
liver. That's exactly right. So that's what Casey has to say. Ty Hampton another one of our clients or students. I've been to and heard several trainings over the years with regards to marketing online and being an affiliate marketer. And John Tarr and Kyle Bell's trainings are hands down the best I've ever experienced. Not only do these guys talk the talk, but they definitely walk the walk. I don't know too many people that consistently net well over $1 million a month online. They're willing to teach you everything they know and tell you step by step how to do it. He goes on, I'll let you guys read it. He does say anyone out there that's considering their trainings and are fortunate enough to work for them or work with them, you should jump all over it. It's absolutely incredible opportunity. So that's nice from Ty. And then Carl, I don't even know how to say Carl's last name, so I'm going to avoid that. This is not an English class, right?
No, thankfully.
Yeah. So damn Canadians. Carl's a Canadian, so he throws this last name problem on us. Before joining John and Kyle, I felt I was half blind trying to figure things out with cold traffic. With their training, I can really say I have a very strong sense of what I'm doing. I feel like a professional, and he is. He's pretty good at what he does. So we got a few of these, actually, Facebook posts. So Travis Spiegel says, working with Kyle and John is hands down the best move I've ever made. Over last 10 months, they've helped me create a business that allows me to live exactly the lifestyle I've always wanted. Writing this from my lanai in Maui as we prepare to move on to another tropical island for the winter. It says the guy who lives in California, winter.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but he does live in Northern California, so it does get
Yeah.
a little bit chilly up in like Santa Cruz. So,
Yeah. Brutal
but they do
for
this
him.
every year. He bails for like 4 months, 5 months, from like Thanksgiving to like April-ish, May.
Yeah, yes, I love it. So these guys are no joke. Do whatever it takes to work with them. Bobby Dubé says, working with John and Kyle, definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made. The list of great things I had to say about them is long, but the two that stand out most for me are their integrity and generosity, which is always nice because you try to have those things. Um, I would say, I mean, we've got a lot of comments and we can go on. Not really sure that it's necessary, but on and on with, we just started running traffic. 3 days, we're already making over 100% ROI. Great training, great group. So yeah, I mean, we've got lots of comments and a lot of people that we've helped. We have trained, I believe now, over probably what, Kyle, 350 people
Yeah, probably at
on
least.
the virtues of online marketing.
Well, and that's through our trainings. Countless other people who've just watched our videos.
And who knows how many people have pirated our trainings.
Yeah, right.
So changing lives. Um, so here's a list of some of the people that we've worked with. I've been in a room. Kyle's been in a room. We've been working on projects together. Ryan Dice, Perry Belcher, Frank Kern, Kevin Nations, Michael X, Ezra Firestone, Ed O'Keefe, Vinny Fisher, Luke Jayton, Harlan Kilstein, John Benson, Kurt Malley, Don Wilson, Adam Spiel. We got hundreds of others. We pretty much show everybody in this industry, and it wasn't always like that for us. It wasn't exactly smooth sailing. So, right? So we're
No,
going to
not
tell you a
that.
little bit about our backstory for just a second. I'll let Kyle take that, and then we're going to talk about you because that's who you give a shit about is you. But before we get to you, Kyle, tell them a little bit about our travels with internet marketing. Before we got to work with all these people and have all these people say these wonderful things about us.
Yeah, I'll talk fast. John must not want to talk right now because he's probably thirsty or needs a drink. So while he's taking a drink, I'm going to jump in here. Um, yeah, there was a time not too long ago, John, where we were sending each other money back and forth just to try and help each other make like cell phone bill payments because like his would be due a different time of the month than mine, and so just to be able to even talk to each other, turn on our gas bills. I moved to Arizona, and for the first 5 months I lived there, I couldn't even turn on the gas bill. So my wife's taking cold showers every day before she went to work. John's like squatting in the house feeding his dog. He didn't even have a car, so he's riding his bike back and forth to grocery stores. And this wasn't too long ago, guys. So we know what that's like for sure.
Yeah, I mean, not that, obviously if those things are fun to talk about now. They're not fun to talk about when you're going through them.
No.
But we've been there for sure, and I think that's one of the reasons we're going to get into that as we get into the presentation. But I think that's one of the reasons we enjoy teaching people is because we know how hard it was for us to overcome the learning curve. So, well, let's talk about you a little bit. We've got a saying, Kyle and I do, in a lot of webinars, and this one, we went into way too much detail, but it seems like a lot of times, you have to show what other people are saying so that you have some social credibility and people know who you are. And that's why we do that, and that's why everybody else does it. You were not getting flashy pictures of our cars or our houses, and that's simply because you really don't care about that. What you care about is what we can do for you. So how can you help me get to my goals, whatever those goals are? So here's who we think you probably are. You're either an affiliate marketer or you are what we call a wantrepreneur. So you want your own business, but you don't know what to do to get that business. And Noah Kagan calls those people wantrepreneurs. You could be a current entrepreneur who is unhappy with their current model. We get a lot of these people in our training, which is maybe you own a furniture store. We had a guy who owned a chain of tanning salons. We had a guy come through our training who is now our CEO who owns a company where he had a lot of employees. I don't even know what it was. But I mean, Kyle, this pretty much sums up who our people are, right?
Yeah. In a nutshell.
Yeah. So, here's the other thing about you, though. You want a virtual lifestyle where you can work anywhere from all over the world. You also want more time with your family, more than likely. And if you don't have a family, you probably want more time to yourself, more time to experience the hobbies or enjoy life or to take in all the things that life has to offer. If you're like Kyle and I, you don't really want a lot to do with managing employees or processes.
Nope.
Probably not any good at it. And we aren't either. So that's okay. So welcome.
Yeah,
If you're not any good
unfortunately,
at that,
unfortunately, there's a lot of things we're not any good at, John.
yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. And here's the thing, and this is what we went through. When Kyle was telling you about the cold showers and things, you can probably relate to this. Even if you have money, like you don't have to be broke, but you're intelligent, but there are missing pieces keeping you from the income and the lifestyle that you want and that you deserve. So if you have that chain of tanning salons, you might want a virtual online business, but you don't know how to get there. Like you don't know how to do that. But you're intelligent, and if somebody lays out a plan, that you can make that happen. And I think that's how we always work out. Like we knew we could do something if we just knew what the hell to do.
Yeah, yeah, and we tried. We lost a lot of money trying to figure it out.
Hmm. Yeah, count us among. Yeah, and by the way, if you're on this webinar and we owe you money, do not try to collect. So,
We
yeah,
lost you money in some real estate investment from like 15 years ago. Don't worry.
yes, yeah. So this is how we're like. One thing that I like to talk about is I used to be in the auto business. My dad owned car dealerships back in the day. And I would work, I didn't work for my dad necessarily, but I worked damn near like 100 hours a week in the auto business. And I mean, I was literally chained to my desk and I wanted to go get an MBA and to do all these kind of things, but I couldn't even get out of the car dealership to be able to go do that because it was a retail environment and I hated it. And I remember I went home every night and I was just very depressed because it wasn't what I thought it could be. And then I tried working for a company because I thought, oh, well, I'll go, I don't like being chained to my desk, so I'll go be a rep for Capital One. And I did that and I was unhappy because I'm like, somebody else is controlling my destiny. And I think when it comes down to, Kyle, jump in here, all I really ever wanted was freedom. It was never about the money because I made great money with both of those endeavors, but it was about the freedom.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to do it now?
Yeah, jump
I
right
didn't know
in.
we were continuing there. Yeah, no, that's what you want. People think what they think they want is oftentimes just disguised as freedom. Um, because you want the freedom to travel where you want. You want the freedom to go buy whatever you want. So some people think it's money, but what it ultimately is just the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever, however you want.
Yeah, and without money, there's no freedom,
No,
right?
no.
Yeah, so free to take cold showers.
Yeah, you're free to do that all you want.
That's right. So here's what it came down to for us. This is a picture of Dawn Beach, which is in St. Martin, which is in the Netherlands Antilles, the Caribbean. And Kyle and I have a home there, and we call our trainings the Island Lifestyle Blueprints. So we got Island Lifestyle Traffic Blueprint, Island Lifestyle Licensing, different things like that. Here's how this came about. We ended up going to a mastermind in St. Martin that one of our friends was putting on. And we were sitting there at a place called Palm Beach, which is on Orient Beach in St. Martin, that we did not have a home there at the time. And Kyle does not drink. I drink plenty for both of us. And so I was drinking a cocktail and working. We were right there on the beach. With these other great internet marketers, and so we're sitting there, we're working, everybody's got their laptops, everybody's got their cocktails, those that chose to indulge in those. That the picture of that ocean is right over to our right, and I thought to myself, this is what it's all about, the freedom to work wherever you want, whenever you want. That is what I thought was the perfect lifestyle.
Yeah, and when he mentions that Kyle and I were drinking a cocktail, I'm not sure what cocktail I was drinking. It was probably like a water or Diet Coke on the rocks.
Yes, I believe I just said you didn't drink,
Oh,
but that I drank enough for both of us.
I'm sitting here reading the slides, and I'm like, well, wait. Okay, go ahead. Yes,
Yeah, I'm currently not drinking. Uh,
maybe I am.
yeah, right. But honestly, man, that's what it's all about. It's not about it's about freedom. Like, it's not all about the money. Like, the money helps and the money is important, because you have to have it. I mean, nobody's going to stick our head in the sand and talk about you don't need money, because you most certainly do. But it's not about having a Rolls Royce. Kyle and I know guys that have Rolls Royce and they dig them, and that's cool. And if you want a Rolls Royce, then go buy a Rolls Royce. But it's not about that. It's not about big houses. We have big houses. People we know have really big houses. That's cool. But it's not about that. It's about the choice. It's about the choice to have those things if you want it. The choice to be able to take your family to a place like St. Martin and live the kind of lifestyle that you want to live from wherever you want to live.
Yeah, and I'd like to be spending more time in in St. Martin, but my problem is I got big family too. So my four kids, with all their schooling nonsense, slow me down a little bit. But yeah, when we talk about freedom, and I know a lot of people say money buys happiness or doesn't buy happiness. Well, one thing I can tell you is that it solves some problems. It doesn't solve every problem, but it solves a lot of problems. But what it ultimately does is provide freedom. And that's what you should really be searching for, because what that means to me and what that means to John is different, and what it means to you guys is different. But ultimately, it's what all the hustle and training and all the stuff we put together and you guys go through and spend all your time doing. That's what it's designed to achieve for you, is freedom.
Yeah, yeah. I very well said. Their kind of freedom. Everybody's freedom is different, so that's cool. And I've got a new training coming out on how to get your business partner to buy a big house in St. Martin that he has never visited, but pay for half of it. So be looking for that real soon, because that's an awesome training.
Yeah, well, I got a house. Like, I can't get there because I got 7,000 kids, but sure, it's great for John.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I
It
did
is
send my
absolutely.
parents though. I did send my parents, so they
Yes.
got to enjoy some of it.
Somebody's been down there.
Yeah, from my side.
Yeah. So speaking of choices, I think that what makes it, we all have our passions, and we all have the things that we do. Um, my wife is a clinical psychologist and she loves it. She's passionate about it. I can't think of anything that would be less interesting or fun for me. Yeah, I just can't. Literally, she is passionate about it, and that involves sitting down with people and things like that. So, I guess I'm saying that to us, I'm not saying that this is the way it is for everybody, but to me, to us, what makes an online business so exciting, it's the best choice possible if you're an entrepreneur because you can decide where you want to live, how much you work, and what you make, basically from anywhere. And, if you work in a car dealership or if you work in an office or if you have a business that's a brick and mortar business, you are there in that place and you're probably in your business all the time. And the wonderful thing about a laptop lifestyle is the only thing you need to do is open up your laptop and you're in business. So I think to me that's what's really exciting because it gives me a freedom, a freedom of what's the word I'm looking for, Kyle? Geographical freedom.
Yeah.
And that's to me what's the most important. What's the most important to you?
But I would say just being able to spend time with the family and I think we go to Disneyland quite a bit and I think we're trying to plan another trip for next weekend with my parents and so um having the ability to do that is awesome. And one thing, I went to Europe a year and a half ago, I guess, for how long was I there? 2 or 3 weeks or something? Um, 3 weeks, I guess. And having the ability to just whip out your laptop, do some work, and then go do whatever it is you wanted to do in Rome, it's hard to beat something like that. And then, like John mentioned, just being on the beach. We were down in St. Martin. All those places have Wi-Fi right on the beach, so we're sitting on the beach in the Caribbean. We got the Wi-Fi. We got our laptops open. We pop them open, work for a couple minutes, hang out, go swim. I mean, there's very few things I think that are much better than that, at least for me.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's been really nice. It's been one of those things where when I read the 4 Hour Work Week when it came out, and when it came out, it kind of exploded on the scene and shed some light on the concept of a virtual lifestyle business. I mean, I'd never heard of that before. I was like, I mean, I thought if you were going to make money, you had to grind it out. My dad owned car dealerships. That dude worked 70, 80 hours a week, and he had money, but he grinded it out. The only good day he had was Sunday. Even though he had a happy life, it was not the kind of life that I wanted. And so when Tim's book came out, I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool because I think it showed what's possible. What it did not show was how to make it possible. And I mean, it was a very simple view into an online business, but it did not take you step by step through how the hell to do it. And that's where the challenge began for me because I'm like, I want that, but I don't know how to get there. So, I think that, Kyle, one thing that is overlooked in this business is how difficult it can be to be successful if you're trying to go it alone.
Oh man. Well, you and I were doing it together, and how many swings and loans and money did we have to borrow? We're trying to figure it out. When we were just
Yeah.
starting, we had no clue. We were just taking shots.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't have this in the slides, but I think you see a lot of people on Facebook. We're in the coaching and consulting industry, and so everybody's in there like you need to have a mentor, and they're trying to sell stuff. So they're like you need to have a mentor, and that mentor needs to be me, so you can buy my shit, which is cool. But it's really the truth. And what busted Kyle and I out of our rut is that I went to work for Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher at ID Incubator quite a few years ago. And when I went in, we were kind of stumbling our way through it. But when I went in and started working for Ryan and Perry, I saw what they did and everything became clear to me. And it wasn't very long. It was less than a year after working for those guys that we really started to bust through. Is that about right? Less than a year, Kyle?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I
But
remember.
don't you think that was a turning point for us when the light bulb went off?
Yeah, and I remember a phone call when you told me that exact thing. Like the light bulb finally went off. I finally
Yeah.
get it.
And so let's talk a little bit about an online business and the anatomy in an online business. Now, if you're like Kyle and I, and we've been in this business a lot or for a while, and we spent a lot of money running traffic and doing all the things. I mean, we know all the people. So let's just assume for a second loosely that we know what we're doing, okay? If you know what you're doing, this is what it takes you to start an internet business if you want your own company. So you need to have good converting copy. That is 25 grand minimum to have a copywriter write your copy.
John, we can't write our own?
What's it now?
We can't
Yes.
write our own copy?
Yes. We have tried.
We all think that.
Failed. Yeah. And that's the thing. And so you go buy a copywriter's course and you go like, oh, I'm a copywriter. But like, Frank Kern has been writing copy for years and he's really good and that's all he does. Guys like Harlan Kilstein, who writes all of our copy, I mean, he's brilliant and he's expensive. John Benson, who's the world's top fitness copywriter, he charges a minimum 100 grand to get a sales letter written. So this is a very conservative estimate of what your copy is going to cost. So then once you have a good converting copy, you need to have a good converting funnel and landing pages for that funnel. And that's 20 grand minimum. So a funnel basically is a process for customers to buy your stuff, is a simple way to put it. Kyle, you have a simpler way to put that?
No, that's as pretty basic as it gets.
Yeah, and so you're looking at a minimum $20,000 to have that, and then you got to go get merchant accounts, and we just spent well over $10,000 to get merchant accounts for one of our new diet supplement companies, and merchant accounts are a whole other beast as far as chargebacks and dealing with them and things like that, which we're not going to get into here. Operations, inventory, accounting, administrative people, and the people to run those systems are absolutely priceless. I mean, you can have a very small internet business, but you still have to have these things. And if you're going to outsource them, you need to know where to outsource them. And so just starting out, you're probably not going to know what that is. So then what you also have to have is an understanding of affiliates, traffic, management. I talked to a guy the other day, Kyle and I do a lot of consulting work, and the guy just purchased a new offer. Very nice guy, a lot of money. He had a lot of money. He's a good dude, but he was clueless on how most of this stuff worked. And so even though he had money and he bought an offer, he didn't really understand how to make that offer print money, which is what some of these offers will do. So in addition to that, you have to understand ads, copy for ads, different platforms, including Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Apple, gee whiz, on and on and on. All this stuff that you got to know. So, if you include all that, and then you're going to include, you got to have a webmaster do all your website stuff. You got to have the website, and it's going to cost you money to put that together. You got to integrate it with your customer service thing and your merchant accounts. You're probably looking at a testing budget of $10,000 minimum, and that's if you get it right. If you got to go back to the drawing board and continue to do more and more testing to get the offer to convert, it's going to cost you more than 10 grand. But by my best guesstimate, I think you're looking at spending a minimum 100 grand to develop a converting online offer if you know what you're doing. This is if you know what you're doing.
I was just going to say that. That is if you happen to know where to go, who to go to, everything. If you happen to know everything getting into it, that's what it would cost.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty conservative.
Yep.
And I was just talking, I'll tell you, our friend Nate, I won't say his last name, pretty big online marketer, he told me that for the new offer, Kyle, that we're associated with him, that he spent 150 grand to test and get everything going to that. Yeah. Us with our skin offer, we're 75 grand into it before we hit any kind of pay dirt, on and on and on. So let's kind of switch gears. Obviously, we talk about it takes a tremendous amount of investment, as any business does, to end up having a really good, solid offer. But let's talk about, why do people fail online? So many people have come to me and said, well, I was trying this and I've done this, and they fail online. And I think, Kyle, you look at these things. Kyle hasn't seen this presentation, so
Nope.
it's the first time we've done it. And so he has no idea what I'm about to say, but I want you to look at these and I want you to tell me if these are the reasons you feel like we failed. So, number one, they don't understand their numbers or the metrics. This is the number one reason people fail online. Now, part of that is they don't understand what metrics to track because they're brand new at online. So, that's part of it, number one. And then because they don't understand that, they don't understand how to generate paid traffic. So paid traffic is a business. And we're not going to get in heavy into paid traffic, what it is, how to do it. Kyle and I are known for a lot of paid traffic stuff, and I'm sure you can find those resources from us or others. But the point is, if you have paid traffic, you have a scalable business. But in order to have paid traffic that runs very well, you have to understand your metrics. And I don't think most people understand them because they're new and they don't know what they are. Would you agree with that, Kyle?
Yeah, 100%. It goes back to John and I were just talking before we got on this call about, every time we don't know where we're going, it's because we don't have a plan. Every time we know where we're going, we have a plan. And so these numbers act like as the foundation for that plan. And if you have no idea what numbers you're trying to hit, you're just out there swinging. And like you hope you make it work, but we've talked in other trainings about if you know and understand your metrics before you actually run any traffic, you know if you're going to make money or not because you know your numbers.
Yeah, it's pretty big. And I'd say that's number one thing that causes online entrepreneurs to fail. And that's really the thing that went, the light bulb that went off for me when I worked for Ryan and Perry was I didn't understood what metrics I needed to track. So that is what made all the difference. But like I say, traffic is important, but you got to know and have the following. So this is a writer downer. So if you're in business or you want to be in business, Kyle has his MBA. So don't discount him. Don't stop listening to him just because he has it. But here's the thing. So Kyle, you've got your MBA. How much did you spend to acquire that wonderful degree, not including time?
Well, can I include like house and food for the whole time? Man, I'm probably like
Sure.
120K into that thing.
Okay. And the thing I'm getting, you know what I'm about to tell them because this is what we talk about all the time. I'm about to tell the people the top three things they need to know to prevent any business failure. Did they teach you this in school?
No, I complain to my parents almost every day that I'm not sending my kids to school because everything I'm doing now, none of it did I learn in school. None of it.
Yeah. Now, as someone who is also educated, my wife's very educated. I can't go on record as saying that because I will then be divorced. However, what I will say is I think that this right here that I'm going to give is worth the price of admission. And I think in order to succeed in business, you got to know these three things in any business. Okay, so if you have an online business, if you have an offline business, a restaurant, a bar, an auto repair shop, you need to understand this stuff. And the guys that understand this are the ones that do really well and they make a lot of money. And you'll see them be in different businesses. You'd be like, man, everything that guy touches turns to gold. Well, it's because he understands this. And then there are some people like Kyle and I back in the day who didn't understand this, and that's a recipe to turn a big pile of money into a small pile of money, which you will not be learning today.
No, hopefully you don't go through that training of ours.
Yeah. So everybody likes to think, and I tell people this, everybody likes to think that their thing is the thing. So, if you talk to my wife about her profession and what she does, she thinks that that's the most important thing. If you talk to an optometrist, they're not going to tell you the most important thing you need to take care of every day is your teeth. They're going to tell you it's your eyes, and on and on and on. Like everybody thinks their thing is the thing. I think from an entrepreneurial standpoint that this is the most important thing that you can learn about business. And Here's what it is. So write this stuff down. This is definitely worth the price of admission to this free webinar. So it is though, man. I mean, like you spent 120 grand to learn this, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, so here you go. You have to know, what is a front end sale worth to you? So if you're in business to make sales. I don't care what business you're in. If you are in the auto mechanic business, you're there to provide a service. That's a sale. If you're in the online business, you're there to provide a product and a sale. So you have to know, when a customer purchases your product, what is that sale worth to you? How much do they pay you? So the example is, you sell a bottle of diet pills for $60. The average customer takes 2 bottles when they order. That makes your average front end sale $120. Is that pretty clear, Kyle?
Yep. That's 120 American.
120 American. So you have to know what a front end sales worth, and we'll get into a Shark Tank analogy here. We'll talk about that. But the second thing you need to understand is, what does it cost you to acquire that customer? So you know that front end sales worth $120. What's it cost you to get that customer? This is for paid traffic. Kyle and I gave this speech to a high-level mastermind we were at in Las Vegas last week. And the people said, one of the ladies came up to us afterwards and said, "Oh, I looked at my numbers and it doesn't cost me anything to get a sale." I think you missed the point. So, right? I mean, here's the thing. Paid traffic, no matter what it is, I don't care what you're paying for. I don't care if you're paying for somebody to hand out flyers. There is a cost to that. You need to know what it is, okay? So if you're getting a referral from somebody, that's awesome. And if you're a coach and consultant, that can be a sustainable business model. But if you're into selling products and services, you can't just depend on referrals. You have to also depend on paid traffic or advertising, marketing dollars to build your business. People that know how to do this make lots and lots of money, and people that don't. That's pretty much right. I mean, They don't. So basically, in the previous example, if with your marketing campaign, you can acquire your customer for $60 and you make $120, which we just said you did because they bought 2 bottles on average, you just doubled your money. So now, this is how big businesses get big, because if you can double your money every time you put up an ad, how many ads are we going to run, Kyle?
I'm going to run as many as I can put up.
Yes, and that's how businesses get big, is because they know these numbers. So the number 3 thing you have to understand is, what is the lifetime value of that customer? So this can be tricky, but I'm going to make it as simple as I can. If the same customer who bought your diet pills is going to buy 3 more bottles and then stop, on average, we call that a stick rate, then your lifetime value is $300, because they bought 5 total bottles. Remember, they bought 2 bottles the first time. They continued their relationship with you by buying 3 more bottles. Then that's $300. So, obviously, if you have other products to sell, it's going to increase that number. But the whole secret to any business, and if you're in business today, the secret is customers that continue to buy things from you, so that advertising dollar stretches and goes a long way. The problem that you probably have is you don't know these numbers. But Kyle, if I can acquire a customer for $60 and I make $300, I believe that's a win.
Yeah, I'm going to do that all day, every day. I'll be like Adrian Peterson all day.
All day, yeah. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. So remember, front-end customer, what's it worth? Second thing is what's your average front-end sale? Second thing is, what's it cost you to get that sale? And number 3 is, what's the lifetime value? In love of God, it does not depend. Okay, that's why they call it an average. So, I mean, how many times, Kyle, did we sit down with clients, multimillionaires, and you would say, "What's your front end sale worth?" And they would say, "Well, it depends."
How many times? I think every time.
Every time, yeah. Well, some people buy this and some people buy that. And no, it does not depend. That's why they call it an average, okay? So that's one thing. And you know, when you know these things, it's an absolute game changer to your business. Now, I'm going to give a quick example. I'm sure most of the people that are watching this presentation love Shark Tank. And Kyle and I love Shark Tank, and we watch it all the time. And my favorite shark is Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. And he always is talking about these numbers, and no one ever knows them. No one ever knows them. I've seen one episode. There was a coffee company. They were based out of Scottsdale, Arizona, where I live. And he asked them these numbers, and they knew them, and he was stunned. He was like, wow, you know that. Like, no one ever does. That's what makes Kevin O'Leary and those guys so good. That's why they can go to all these different businesses, is because they know these numbers where regular people don't. But now you do. So it becomes a complete game changer.
Yes. Amen. I don't even got anything
Yes.
to add to that.
Yeah. I mean, so here's one thing Kyle and I always talk about. People talk to us and they're like, you guys are always so calm, you're cool, you never get flustered like by anything. And here's why. We don't have emotional outbursts or problems in our business. We have math problems because we know these three numbers. Things either work or they don't work. And if they don't work, we're going to switch it so that they do. It's never about us not knowing what the hell is going on, and so we get all emotional. Like a lot of small business people, and this is no, my dad was a small business person, and I have owned small businesses, and it's a tough racket. Well, a lot of times the reason it's a tough racket is because, like Kyle said before, people are just guessing. They're just throwing shit up against the wall and just guessing. They don't know these numbers, and so everything becomes an emotional problem instead of a math problem. You want to speak on that for a second,
Yeah,
Kyle?
and here's why it takes the drama out, and why it becomes a math problem, not an emotional problem. Because if you understand the numbers, then you're not scared about spending $5,000 a day, because you know if you spend $100 and make $300, you triple your money. So you're not scared about spending 5,000 because you triple your money and you make 15,000. So the math makes, and knowing these numbers makes all the problems and all the drama with paid traffic disappear, because you know going into it, or you know after you've done some testing, what those numbers are going to be. And then it just becomes plugging in the math to making, however much you want to make that day.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely huge. And in my opinion, and I would say that if I were consulting business owners, which I do, the number one reason businesses fail is not lack of capital, but lack of knowledge of these three numbers. Because eventually, because if you can turn $1 into five, how much capital do you really need to do that? Not a ton. Lack of capital happens when you're losing your ass and you don't know why. And then you look up and you're like, I'm out of money because I don't know what my numbers are. And I think, in my opinion, that's the number one reason businesses fail.
Yeah. Couldn't agree
All
more.
right, so here's the thing. So we've given you a little business knowledge. We've told you about us. You've heard what other people say about us. That's great. So at this point, we're going to talk about how we can work together and how you can get an online business going and avoid some of these things that we told you can be a problem. So at this point, after we share with you how we can partner, so to speak, you have three choices, all right, if you want to start changing your business in your life. Number one, stay where you are and do nothing, right? So stay where you're at. I'm assuming you got on this webinar to some people just got on to see what was going on because they know Kyle and I maybe, and they wanted to know what we're up to now. Some people just got on to get more information because that's where they're at in this stage, and that's cool. We're not hating anybody, by the way. So we're not saying, hey, this is bad if any of these are you. But if you got on here and you want to make a change in your life or your business, or your income. Maybe you're making 30 grand a month already, but you want to make 100. Maybe you're making 3 grand a month and you want to make 10. It doesn't matter what it is, but you can stay where you're at and choose to do nothing. That's the most comfortable choice because it doesn't cost you anything and you can't fail. But you can't fail what you don't do. So that's your first choice. Your second choice is you can do what we showed you. You can go out on your own. You can develop the copy. You can develop the landing pages, the ads, the product, fulfillment, go get your merchant accounts, buy the inventory, hire the customer service people, on and on ad nauseum.
And then hire us later to help.
Yeah, and then hire us to consult you, right? You will, you're going to own the business, but you're going to pay the price of a very steep learning curve. Because as we mentioned, the minimum amount to get started is going to be 100 grand, and that's if you know what you're doing. So, you've got that option. And if you don't know, you're going to spend twice that. Because you're going to hire one copywriter and you're going to pay him and his copy's going to suck because you didn't know where to go. So that money gets set on fire. Then you're going to test 5 or 6 different funnels because you don't know what's going to work. So you go test that, and it's on and on, like the different variables that you have. So that's the second thing. Go out on your own. Or what we've designed is a program where you can work with our team and our companies so that you can own your own business today, like right now. And you're going to avoid the big learning curve. You're going to have a small learning curve because that's the nature of being in any business. So we're not here to, sprinkle magic pixie dust or anything like that. Right? Unicorns do not exist, do they, Kyle?
Well, my kid has like a stuffed pink unicorn, and I'm going to
Wow.
Disneyland next weekend, maybe. So that might be some pixie dust there, but not in the real world. I don't think that any of that stuff applies.
Yeah. So, there's going to be a small learning curve, but you're going to get support, and you can make your online business a success by working with us. So here's what we have to offer today. And then we'll talk a little bit about why we're offering it and those kind of things, because I'm sure that you're curious. So instead of spending 100 grand to develop your own offer, if you know what you're doing, you can licensee, it looks like here. You can licensee one of our existing properties.
This is not an English training, so you will not be learning any English or grammar here.
Yeah, our next program, how to butcher a PowerPoint. So you can licensee one of our existing properties for a small fraction of this amount. How wonderful. And then I'll show you some examples of properties that we have, and it will give you details on what you get here. But basically, we have these properties. We have also other properties, but Beautiful Skincare is one of our companies. Slim Woman, www.slimwoman.com. That's www.slimwoman.com. If you want to buy something and do not want a licensee.
Yeah.
Then we have our Island Entrepreneur Lifestyle Package, and then Fitness Fusion, which is our testosterone company. And then we have other companies as well that are part of this. And so here's what you get if you choose to work with us and license it. You're going to get a converting offer that is yours to run. So basically, you're going to license that company, and it's going to be like it's your company. So you get to run the traffic. You can hire somebody to run the traffic. You can run it like it's your own company. You're going to get 100% of the revenue from your offer. So 100% of the revenue you keep because you're just a licensee, meaning you're not an affiliate or anything like that. Like, it's your company. But you're only going to have to handle the front end stuff. You're not going to have to handle the back end stuff. So no customer service, no merchant accounts to mess with, no employee responsibilities. We handle all that for you. That's what you pay us in that licensing fee. And so you can sell supplements, info products. You don't have to worry about inventory, chargebacks, refunds, anything like that. Kyle, talk a little bit about what this would have meant to us if we would have had this opportunity when we got started.
Well, I can tell you, it would have saved us. We'd be, I don't know, not even counting the money we would have made off the product, but it would have saved us, where are we at? 300, 400K into products and testing and offers and copy and all that stuff. So we'd be much farther ahead in the game than we are currently if we had all this stuff going into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just huge. I mean, in our opinion, it's huge. And I don't even know what to say, like, on the different kind of things that you can get here. So let's talk about what else you're going to get. So Kyle and I take you through an 8-week intensive online business training. So we have over 6 online properties that we own that do 1 million a month in revenue in addition to our consulting stuff. So we know a thing or two about online business. We're going to take you through the anatomy of online businesses step by step in a lot more detail than you received today. You're also going to be assigned to a coach. So whatever property that you pick, that property, and we explain this in the online business, that property has a CEO that runs it. That is your coach. They will explain to you exactly how they run their aspect of the corporate side of that business. So you're going to get a coach to help answer your questions. So, Jordan had Phil Jackson, Brady had Belichick. Who do you have to coach you through online businesses? You're going to get that as part of your licensing deal. You get a Facebook group with fellow online entrepreneurs so that your questions are only minutes away from being answered. One of the best things, we're in Kevin Nation's family, and one of the best things that Kevin has about that group is all the people that are in that group have a Facebook group, and myself or Kyle, we can go ask the question, and instantly we get answers from 50, 60 different people. That means 50, 60 different perspectives. It's a very active group full of ballers. That's what this group is. It's people who are doing what you're doing. They have a license to one of the properties. They're running online traffic. They're learning the online business, and they're in that group, so they can help you with, wherever you are in the process. Then I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and our business is all about me. So that's where our corporate headquarters is at, right, Kyle?
Yo, you bet.
My business partner.
You bet it is.
So anyway, we have the Island Lifestyle Academy. And so every month here in Scottsdale and once a year in St. Martin, basically you get to come and learn from us. And it'll be a different topic every month. And it'll be all about how to help you have a successful online business. So you get from Kyle and I and everybody else on our team, I don't even know how big our team is now, but it's big. We have a CEO for the whole operation. We have CEOs for each entity that we showed you. We have admin personnel, all kinds of different people. But you're going to get our knowledge of what works and what doesn't. Kyle, can you think of anybody that is a big deal in the online industry that we don't know?
I don't know of anybody that we can't hit up on Skype or on the phone. And if there is somebody, I guarantee one of the people we know knows them.
Yeah, I mean, so we're pretty connected, and what that means for you is you're going to be on the cutting edge of what's working and what's not working. Because the people that we know absolutely throw down with traffic, with testing, and so as things shift, you're going to know about it. And I think that I've always said that if you want what somebody else has, do what they do and you'll have what they have. Same thing here. I mean, if you want a virtual online business, you want to know what works and what doesn't work. And that's something we certainly have access to. So with that being said, there are 3 ways to work with us. You can build your own. We will build your own info product or supplement brand with guaranteed conversion. So by the time it gets to you, it's going to be a converting offer. I have a friend of mine who just posted in a mastermind that I'm in. She has an online business that generates 30 to 40 grand a month in revenue, and she's getting ready to sell that business. The business broker told her that she should be able to get 1.3 million for that business. So we can build your own business and have it converting to you by the time you get it. That's one way that you can work with us. That's obviously the most expensive way. You won't pay $1.3 million. You can if you'd like to.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll take it. That's not what we charge. But that's awesome because we just happen to be pretty good at this stuff. You can also, instead of building your own, you can just license one of our properties, which is the least expensive way to work with us. You license one of our properties, you get all the revenue, you get a coach. You have your online business, bam, you didn't have to do anything and it'll convert. Or you can license multiple properties. So if you want to license every property we have, you can do that as well. And we're adding different properties all the time to make this a group of really good licensees that that can do really well. So think of it like this: Wendy's says, "Hey, we got this cool system. We've got pretty good food. It's working pretty well in Columbus, Ohio, and we're going to put these things all over the country. So if you want a Wendy's and that works for you, then invest all this money in the infrastructure and build one in your hometown, and you can be good to go." And the problem with that is that you are, I guess, handicapped by location, right? So what if somebody, lives 100 miles away from your Wendy's? Well, they're not coming there. With our program as a licensee, everyone in the world is your customer. And we're limiting each property to a select number of licensees so that it's not saturated. But everyone in the world becomes your customer, not just people that live in a certain radius. So we want you to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Because Kyle and I understand we have the entrepreneurial spirit. We don't want to work for anybody else. We don't want to run traffic to somebody else's offer. We want to run it to our own offers. And so, again, you have the 8-week training. You have the monthly on-site training at our corporate headquarters. You get 100% of the revenue. You get your own personal coach to help answer your questions. And like I mentioned before, to avoid saturation, the offer's limited on a first-come, first-served basis. So the property you want may be sold out. If more people are on that, then we want to be on that based on the property. Obviously, the diet market's huge. We can have quite a few people in there. The make money market's pretty big. Kyle and I like to stay in the big markets. That's one thing you'll learn from us. But I think the offer is basically you can enjoy the lifestyle and income you deserve without the massive learning curve of doing it on your own. And Kyle, do you have anything to add to all this wonderfulness?
No, I was thinking as you were talking about that, like, man, I really wish they would have had this for us, like
Yeah.
2 years ago, whenever we started doing that. Oh,
Yeah. And and we'll get into, that's really true. And sometimes, offers are like, well, it's too good to be true, right? Or you're thinking, wow, fuck, that's expensive. Pardon my language, but it's true. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about some questions here. And by the way, there should be a button there now if you're interested. Here's how to go about working with us. You're going to fill out an application form, and you're going to talk with one of our representatives on if this is a good fit for you and a good fit for us. We're not interested in taking everybody into this program. We're only interested in taking the people we feel that can be the most successful. So there's an interview process that is around for this thing. So you'll see that button there. You can go right to there. You can fill out the application and set an appointment. You'll be able to set an appointment immediately with one of our team members so that you can talk about this opportunity and see if it's a good fit.
yeah, and it's not a credit app, by the way. So
No,
steering
no,
you.
that's
It's
right.
actually just a few questions.
Yeah, it's not very intense, but it does give us an idea of who you are because we've given you an idea of who we are. And so a lot of times in these presentations, we get inundated with questions. This thing can run on for hours if we answer all of them. Here's what we like to do because some people get more granular. We're going to answer the most frequently asked questions that we get. And then if you need additional information, of course, set that appointment and talk with our representative, our team member, and they can give you more granular information on a question that's most specific to your needs. That's what we find works best for these kind of things. So, Kyle, why are you offering this? That's a
Uh,
frequently asked question. Why would you do this?
we are offering this because we make money. Newsflash, we make money
Yes.
by charging you guys to license our products. And we have a bunch of products that are sitting there, and we can't necessarily get to all the traffic all day. And there's so much traffic out there um, that we do it for money and we can't get to it. So it helps us make some extra dough.
Yep. That's pretty much. You mean we're not martyrs?
No, no, we're not
We're
doing
not.
this just to make you guys have better lives and reach all the dreams and shoot rainbows out of your bottoms.
Yes.
It's we actually get something out of this.
Yeah, and here's the other thing though too. I think that Kyle and I decided a long time ago that we like teaching people. We like helping people in a sense of when I say helping people, what I mean is like we're not here like we're not like, sisters of the world. I mean, we're not here to like just save everybody, but there are people out there that want the kind of lifestyle that we have and want the kind of freedom that we have, and we want to lay out a blueprint for people to be able to get that, because we want to get paid to help you overcome the learning curve. Is it in a nutshell, and that's why we do this. So, how much does it cost, Kyle?
Well, are we going into that, or are we letting him talk to Anthony?
Yeah, no, they're going to talk with our team member because if you're not a good fit, it's not going to cost you anything.
Yeah.
But what I do say though, it's a lot less expensive than you think. Okay, it's less than 10 grand for sure, and it's a great opportunity, and it's a pay as you go kind of program. You're not locked in, contractually obligated, anything like that. So if you're remotely interested, you need to speak with Anthony or one of our other team members and determine if it's a good fit for you. But it's much less expensive than you would think. I mean,
Yeah.
based on the fact that those four properties that I showed you, we're invested well over $500,000. You don't pay anything close to that. I
No.
mean, not even anything close.
In fact, we made a post, and a bunch of people reached out to me and said, "Oh man, that looks awesome," but I think it'd be too much. And they went through the process, talked to the rep, and found out that I got an email back with a guy who just dropped the F bomb and was like, "F, that was way cheaper than I thought. I better get in on that." Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, don't go through the process, answer the questions. Talk to Anthony or one of the other guys, and just feel it out. And if it's not a good fit, then it was free 99.
yeah. I mean, and Anthony's cool, and our other guys are cool. They're not going to hold guns to your head. It's not like a boiler room type atmosphere where we're just here to like sell anybody we can. We don't want to work with we want to work with people that we like because we get together, we do these events. Go through my Facebook page and you'll see people that have come to our events and our students and our clients, and they're cool people because we like think we're cool, and that's who we want to hang out with. So jerks, people like that need not apply, and we weed you out. We have a very good weed out process for that. So, all right, here's my favorite question. Kyle, I'm going to answer this, and then you can come in. What is your success rate with students? This is always the question I get from a certain number of people. And here's what I always respond. It's not about our success rate, it's about yours. So if you're successful at everything you do, there's no doubt you're going to be successful at this. If you're not successful at anything you do, there's no reason to think it's going to change here. Okay? Um, Kyle and I have a system, but we are not saviors. There is a certain amount of work that you have to put in to own your own business, to have a lifestyle, and we're not here to save people. That's not what we do, and those are not the folks that we want in our program. So, will this help you get along the learning curve faster? Yes. Do our offers convert? Yes. Can you make a lot of money doing this? Yes. Is it easy? Not necessarily. It's simple, but it's not easy. Kyle, what do you have to add to that, our
Uh,
success rate?
yeah, a lot of people come into these things, and I mean, we did it. We'd watch webinars and we'd go through things, and we just expecting, something to happen. But um, a lot of the responsibility, in fact, 99% of it will fall on your shoulders. So like John mentioned, how you do one thing is generally how you do everything. And so if you're out there and you're successful in most things you've done and you figure out ways to make things work, and you're always um, succeeding in life and everything else that you're doing, this is probably going to be for you. If it's not, like he mentioned, it's not, you can't come into here after failing everything else and just miraculously think something's going to change.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put that. Awesome. So, Kyle, is there a guarantee?
Yeah, we have a guarantee. Guarantee there's no guarantee.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly right. So here's the deal. We have online properties that make money for us, and you can license those properties. And if you license that property and don't do anything with it, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. So we don't offer a guarantee. We offer to, what I said to Kyle is I want our stuff to work for everybody who implements it. So I guarantee you that we're going to do everything we can within the systems and structures that we put in place to help you be successful online. That's what we can guarantee. So here's my next favorite frequently asked question. How much time does it take? Kyle, do you mind if I go into the Chris Collinsworth story?
No, go for it.
So I'm watching HBO Real Sports a couple weeks ago, and Chris Collinsworth, if you guys are familiar with Chris Collinsworth, he does the color commentary for Sunday Night Football. And Chris Collinsworth is cool, and I like him. This preparation. Now, this cat does one game a week on NBC. And whether you're a football fan or not, take note of this. So they're showing his film room in his house. He lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. And he said, basically, Chris said that he watches every NFL game every week. He watches in every game, every play, and then he watches every player on every play. So he will basically, there are 11 players on offense and 11 players on defense. So the first play of the game, he'll watch every player on offense. So he'll rewind the play, watch Peyton Manning, rewind the play, watch C.J. Anderson, rewind the play, watch Demaryius Thomas, every player on offense. Then he rewinds the play and watches every player on defense. So every player on every play from every NFL game every week. Now, on top of that, Chris also does his color commentary into a microphone and then sends it to his friend, Al Michaels, who's his booth guy. And so that Al Michaels knows what Collinsworth is thinking there. So Kyle and I do not have that kind of preparation for our stuff. But I think it illustrates a really good point. You can put in as much time as you want based on how successful you want to be. Do you have to put in 100 hours a week to be successful online? No, you do not. I don't work 100 hours a week. Kyle, I don't think you work 100 hours a week.
What?
Right? I don't even think you work. Do you even do anything anymore?
I'm retired, dude. It's 100 hours a week retired.
Takes 50% of my money, yo. Yeah, no, I think that people, when you're first starting out, if you don't have any experience whatsoever, you're going to have to put in more hours. And if you've got a lot of experience, it's going to be a more turnkey system for you. So I think that all depends on what you want to do. But the time you put into it, what you put into it's what you're going to get out of it. That's for sure. Kyle, how soon until I can start making money?
Well, we set these things up so you can get started fairly quickly. There will be, like John mentioned, a short learning curve, and depending where you come in on that learning curve and how much you've done and know to this point, we'll speed that process up. But again, this is going to go back to how much time and effort. The guy who spends 100 hours a week is going to start making money a lot faster than the guy who spends 2 hours a week doing it. Now, both of those will work eventually, but the guy spending 2 hours a week is going to take a lot more weeks to get to where the guy spending 100 hours a week is. So again, that's going to depend a lot on you. We're not going to guarantee anything as far as time frame there. Notice FTC in case you were watching this later.
That's right.
But we try and shorten that learning curve, so you should be making money, in a relatively short amount of time. Again, based on several different factors that you bring to the table.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about our little scheme here is Frank Kern always calls everything an evil scheme. The more money you make, the more money we make when you see how this is structured. So we certainly want to support you and help you make as much as you possibly can. Because if you're making a lot of money, then we make a lot of money.
Do you want to explain that to him?
Yeah, well, it's like Wendy's. I mean, Wendy's gets a royalty. And so if a franchisee is making, $1 million a year, Wendy's gets, I don't know what royalty they charge actually, but they get a royalty. You in our licensing program are going to pay a flat licensing fee, that's what I'm talking about, a flat licensing fee or a royalty, whichever is greater. And so if you're making, and the royalty comes off your net profit. So if you're making 100,000 a month, Kyle and I make more money than if you make zero a month, none hundred a month, right? We make more money on that. And so we have set this program up so that you can get the support to make as much money as possible. So we have a vested interest in your success.
Yes, and it's also ongoing. So we want you to stay successful as well.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We're going to add more properties. We're going to continue to make the properties that we do have successful as we tweak things for better conversions, different things like that, increase transaction size, better continuity for our customers. So, you get to participate in all that. And our goal is one that, again, the more money you make, the more money we make. And that's the I guess overall, program of this. So we definitely want you to be successful, and we want you to start making money from day one. That's really what we want. And some people hit the ground running, they do really well, and other people, it's going to take them a little longer because maybe they have a greater learning curve. But we don't know where you're at, and so that's why we can't really say for certain how long it's going to take you to get up and going. Awesome. So again, if you want to work with us, if you want to find out more information on this program, you just click on the button there. It's going to take you to a application form. You fill that out. You're going to talk to one of our representatives. If you're remotely interested, you should, speak with Anthony or one of his guys or gals, because it doesn't cost you anything to talk, and you'll get to find out if this is the opportunity that you've been waiting for. We certainly feel like we've created a good opportunity for people. And there's an old saying that says, what is it? When luck meets preparation, that's called opportunity or something like that. Or opportunity is when luck meets preparation. So, hey, you're on this webinar for a reason. You've wanted to participate. You want an online business. You want to do it the right way. You've got certain goals you want to hit. And so this could be the opportunity that you've been waiting for. So I highly encourage you to get on there and to check that out, have a conversation anyway. If not, we hope you pick something up from the webinar. We tried to give you the information in an entertaining way, something that would be fun for us and fun for you. Those three things we think will help you in any business. So if you have a current business, go apply those things to your business. Go find out what those numbers are. And Kyle, that's all I have. Anything else?
No, just that if you guys aren't totally satisfied with where you are in life or what you're doing, or you're bored with it or something, again, just fill out that form, talk to Anthony and his guys, and just see if it's something that might work out for you, give you a change or give you that freedom that you're looking for.
Yeah, one more thing. If you're an affiliate marketer today and you're making an affiliate commission, one thing I want to point out about our program and why it's a good fit for you is you get 100% of the revenue. That includes the continuity. So if they continue to purchase the service, you continue to get paid. Whereas an affiliate, your commission's much less substantial. So you really want to look at this if you're an affiliate, because you understand traffic already, you understand online marketing already, and this can really explode your success. So with that being said, guys, gals, thank you for being on here with us. We appreciate your time. We know it's valuable, and we look forward to working with those who feel like it's a good fit.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Out.
Yep. See you guys. Thanks for being on.
All right.